Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Believe it or not, well, you might guess very quickly where we are not.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, I can't believe what happened. They only did two readings in Sridham Mayapur, and both of them were from the room.
They were.
Because actually we were so busy.
Yeah, we were.
In Sridham Mayapur with the
ISKCON Leadership Sangha.
ISKCON Leadership Sangha, and then time there expired. We were only there for about 10 days.
Yeah.
So now we've come back to our local. I think we said in the last time we read here, this would probably become our local.
I think so.
It's not Russell Square, but it is quite possible Srila Prabhupada walked here. I have firm faith.
We need to find out. We'll ask someone.
Well, there's devotees we can ask. But anyway, here we are. This is Aldenham Church. Oh, it's a very beautiful place. You just saw some people.
Ramblers.
Okay.
Alright, it's Canto 3, Chapter 32, Text 37.
I think we'll finish the chapter today. There's only 4 pages left, but the way that my wife talks, actually we probably won't.
Not a chance. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That was a more modern take. Alright, text 37. My dear mother, I explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. Hold on, is this on? Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure my mic was on. I've explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. The process of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the absolute truth. And all other processes mentioned are just like tributaries. Lord Kapila is summarizing the importance of the process of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described before, is divided into 4 divisions, 3 in the material modes of nature and 1 in transcendence, which is untinged by the modes of material nature. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means for material existence, whereas devotional service without desires for fruitive result and without attempts for empirical philosophical research is pure transcendental devotional service. I like this first sentence. The process of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the absolute truth. Sounds like a Janvi Harrison song. If you know, you know. It's nice.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. Text 28. There are varieties of material existence for the living entity according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. My dear mother, if anyone enters into that forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movements will end. So nice. It's such a realized perspective, you know, that you just see people are moving around aimlessly, although they think they have some goal, but they're just aimlessly wandering. Purport. Once one enters into the continuation of material existence, it is very difficult to get out. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself or sends his bona fide representative, and he leaves behind scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the living entities hovering in the darkness of nescience may take advantage of the instructions of saintly persons and the spiritual masters and thus be freed. Unless the living entity receives the mercy of the saintly persons, the spiritual master, or Krishna, It is not possible for him to get out of the darkness of material existence by his own endeavor. It is not impossible. Sorry, it is not possible. So yeah, Krishna comes himself personally, and he leaves some process or path, or as we know, Lord Chaitanya came and gave the Yuga Dharma, this Harinam Sankirtan. So the Lord comes and establishes the path and the process. And then it's up to the living entities to try to find someone who can help them. But we can't do it on our own. So either through the books, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, which is not different from Krishna himself, or maybe Krishna himself comes and helps. Prabhupada states something to that effect in the Bhagavad Gita seed verse. I think it's 10:11. Tesham evanu kampartam aham agyanjamatamaha nashyami atmabhavasto jnanamam jnanadipana bhava. Krishna, last verse. Anyway, Krishna, if someone isn't intelligent enough to get out themselves, then Krishna from within, as Super Soul, will give them knowledge and information. Or we have to seek out a spiritual master.
But Krishna also gives that intelligence, no?
That's right.
Because you don't even know who's a bona fide one, who's not, or who is a spiritual master.
Yes. Yasha prasade bhagavat prasadu yasha prasada nagati kutopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets a spiritual master. And by the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna. So Krishna is responsible. There's some runners coming up behind us.
Oh.
Just in the screen now.
Text 39. Look at that, look at these people running. Lord Kapila continued, this instruction is not meant for the envious, for the agnostics, or for persons who are unclean in their behavior, nor is it for hypocrites or for persons who are proud of material possessions. Text 40. It is not to be instructed to persons who are too greedy and too attached to family life, nor to persons who are non-devotees and who are envious of the devotees and of the personality of Godhead. Purport. Persons who are always planning to do harm to other living entities are not eligible to understand Krishna consciousness and cannot enter into the realm of transcendental loving service to the Lord. Also, there are so-called disciples who become submissive to a spiritual master most artificially with an ulterior motive. They also cannot understand what Krishna consciousness or devotional service is. Persons who, due to being initiated by another sect of religious faith, do not find devotional service as the common platform for approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. We have experienced that some students come to join us, but because of being biased in some particular type of faith, they leave our camp and become lost in the wilderness. Actually, Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious faith. It is a teaching process for understanding the Supreme Lord and our relationship with Him. Anyone can join this movement without prejudice, but unfortunately, there are persons who feel differently. It is better, therefore, not to instruct the science of Krishna consciousness to such persons. It's so nice, so deep. And it kind of ties in with the morning class today, the Bhaktivedanta manner, kind of with Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's pretty much a genius if you don't know who he is. He's a very intelligent man. So it's like how he was explaining like different levels that people are interested in, you know? Things like culture. That's all I remember. There's different aspects of...
What he was saying is that a person isn't just the philosophy that they follow. So the philosophy may just be one aspect. There may be...
Oh my goodness.
Lord have mercy on our souls. That was a gust. That was a gust from the crazy, whoops, hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Not quite as good as when we almost got drowned in the
Thames.
Thames, but
Oh my goodness.
okay. Yeah, that was a wind blowing situation.
Anyway, just to fill the gap. The point is that people, they don't come to Krishna consciousness because of what, like, we all come for different reasons, and they may not come for the essence, as it were, that's being preached, because there's different facets to people, not just the philosophical side.
Yeah.
So then, if that facet, as long as it's been, it keeps you interested or being fulfilled, you'll stay. And if something's challenged according to that aspect, or when you felt I've heard enough, you'll go back to what you know or to something else, because it's not that everyone that's here is wishing to or is connecting with the core essence which we may preach. But even within ourselves, when the faith is rocked or some connection with the faith is obstructed, then we can also see to what degree we are here for the essence of Krishna consciousness, if that makes sense. I mean, just to take Chaitanya Charampa's life, I mean, you should definitely Google him, okay, and listen to his classes. He, without going into too much detail, but he also shares, he's had oh my goodness, the obstacles that he's gone through in his life as a child to adult, as in from a child, would make you cry what he's been through, family life and his parents and that, growing up. And I was saying to one devotee that was sitting next to me in the class, because she didn't know, and I wasn't going into detail of that, but I said, for me, when I see him, and he's due to polio, he walks with a cane, a crutch, so he also walks, but that's the least of his struggles that he's been through. But I was saying to her how focused he is, and the spiritual side of him, not only does it remain fixed, but it's going higher and higher and higher, regardless of what he's had to go through to where he is now. And it's pretty impressive his life story, very impressive. I mean, it's very sad actually. So that's the person, the reason I'm bringing that up is that's the person who is definitely connected to the essence, I'm saying, of Krishna consciousness. Because I'm sorry, but what he's been through, if it was anything else, he would have long gone, or he would have at least been bitter and twisted in some way. And there's nothing like that at all. Like I was saying to you, it's a thorough gentleman, isn't he?
Yes.
Thorough gentleman. That's all I've got to say. As an official representative of the Chaitanya Charan fan club. Unofficial representative.
Chaitanya Charan Prabhu.
Sorry. Oh yes. It's the unofficial representative. Alright, shall we read the next paragraph?
I'm okay to read it, if you're okay if I read it.
Yes.
Right. Generally, materialistic persons are after some name, fame, and material gain. So if someone takes to Krishna consciousness for these reasons, he will never be able to understand this philosophy. Such persons take to religious principles as a social decoration. See, like here's one of them. Social decoration. It's social status. You know, it's not so much the philosophy. I like the social status, or I like the society of people, or I like the food, which is part of the culture. You know, they admit themselves into some cultural institution for the sake of name only, especially in this age. Such persons also cannot understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Even if one is not greedy for material possessions, but is too attached to family life, he also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. Superficially, such persons are not very greedy for material possessions, but they are too attached to wife, children, and family improvement.
Oh, what time is it?
2 o'clock.
Said it was 2 rings.
Superficially, such persons are not very greedy for material possessions, but they are too attached to wife, children, and family improvement. When a person is not contaminated by the above-mentioned faults, yet at the ultimate issue is not interested in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if he is a non-devotee, he also cannot understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So, interesting. It just makes you wonder if sometimes if we're really understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, because it's so deep, and the more that you kind of become attached to Krishna, the more you let go of material attachments, the more that you understand, and the deeper you go. So, but the point here, at least what I'm understanding, is that if we have too many other attachments, there may be things that are attractive in the culture of Krishna consciousness or the society of devotees, but the actual philosophy may elude us. And we can see that sometimes when kind of pious people come to Krishna consciousness and they just think it's about, whatever, like a Kanishta Adhikari may just come to the temple and give some donation, or you just come for kirtan, or you just come for prasadam, so there are people who just come for certain things, and they think that's all there is. I think even you said your dad, used to think that you were, just sitting in the temple playing cartels all day.
He still does. No, he made that comment the other day. He really honestly did, 20 plus years later. That's all you do. I educated you up to such and such level. And that's all you do. I thought, wow. I don't think I've ever done that. Well, extensively. He does.
Yeah, so it's like this. We just haven't. I mean, Prakashananda Saraswati. He said to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what are you doing? You're a sannyasi and you're just chanting and dancing in the streets with these sentimentalists. And he was an advanced person. He had I forget, 10,000 or 100,000 disciples, something like that, and such a revered and respected scholar of Vedanta. And he just thought Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hanging out with sentimentalists, that the devotees, the bhaktas are sentimentalists. So like this, you can't enter into the inner sanctum of Krishna consciousness unless Bhakti Mam Abhijanati, unless you have some love or devotion for Krishna. And that means, that means immediately starting to let go of the mundaneness of the material world.
All right. Should we end it here? Because then we can, next time we can finish the chapter nicely. So I don't want to rush it.
Yeah, I agree. So
otherwise it gets in that mood of
I'm just trying to
finish. Just finish work, get through it. So we will finish it next time because there's only 2 verses, but I'd rather not rush. So thank you everyone.
Okay, the planes are circling. I'm not sure if it's about to land on top of us, but there is some airport, small airport around here, Elstree, I think, an airport or somewhere. Anyway, very nice to be with you all again.
Yes.
And as you can see, we've gone from nice, hot, sunny weather to old blighty. Hare Krishna, everyone. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.